Hi, everyone. We've received quite a few frequently asked questions for our program. Dr. Z, one of the biggest questions is, what is this program?
This program is a 6-week challenge program. We call it a date with true self and nature. And this is really designed for people to have a high achieving life without the burnout.
Okay, wonderful. And tell me a little more. Another question we get is, well, what has high achieving life and burnout to do with true self? Like, what's the connection there?
Yeah, that's a good question. So first of all, everyone can see for all these years since 2020, right? Collectively, we all experienced this stressful
Mm,
general environment through the pandemic, the war, now the recession. Everywhere you look, it's not very pleasant. And with this general background, uh, it affects our individual life without we even feeling the direct connection, but it gets people more easily to get distressed, and anxiety level is way up than usual. On the other level is the individual level. Our life is getting so complicated, like
mm.
even remembering all the accountants passwords gets people stressed out, right?
Yeah.
And just like little things like that, it's very annoying little things. It's piling up with our life. Everything you do gets you very impatient and stressful, right? And with that, at both the individual and the collective level, we do have a pandemic of anxiety and burnout. So,
Mm,
having said all that, this is why we create this program, and especially for high achieving people. They are most vulnerable for this kind of stress and burnout, uh, both at work and at home, because it's all connected. It's very hard not to bring that kind of stress into your life from
mm,
your workplace. They really want thrive to have a outer performance and a very harmonious, healthy relationship at home.
mm.
Our high achievers trying to do a lot of things at a time and gets super vulnerable, to be burnout and stress. And there are two main contributors as well as solutions for that.
Mhm.
And the resources of um, the stress coming from the conscious or unconscious belief that they are alone into this whatever mess they're in their life.
Mm,
They have to deal with the whole thing by themselves. And that subconscious, understanding of this. And also because the high achievers, they're the top, performers in their company and work. And they are very lonely. Sometimes they're the only one know how to do this, know how to do that. So they have a habitual thing is they have to do everything by themselves because they're so good at it, right? And this loneliness get them into deeper trap of burnout and stress and
mm,
anxiety. So our program is really getting them out of this I am alone. And a lot of clients coming out of a program, the biggest aha for them is I'm no longer alone, right? So
yes.
you're not alone. For these high achievers, they want to have their counterpart. It's very hard for them to find a counterpart because they're so high, they're so good at many things. It's not comfortable for them to reach out to other people and for support because
Mm,
those people may not be as good as them. And also, even families and friends, they're not professionally trained to how to support them emotionally, technically, at any level. And sometimes if you reach out to your family and they only get more stress onto you because they don't know how to comfort you. your friends could be like, overly sympathetic about you. Things could be worse. Like they give you an example of how things could be worse. And that doesn't help very much. Or you can go to some, non-professionally trained people and they can be overly positive. They were like, oh, just do it. Oh, I know you can do it. Like it doesn't help at all.
Be happy. Be
Yeah,
happy.
yeah. So it sounds right, but it doesn't really help, right? And to the point it gets so annoying for those high achievers to listen to this. So when they really want to reach out to the resources, when they're not alone, what could be a better support for them? Either at one level is mass level professionally trained coaches they can reach out to. You know, they will get totally understood and provide inspire them. And the other thing is when our clients coming out of this program, they feel not alone. It's really they reach inward towards their higher self, higher wisdom, the best version of them. When they get that connection, that's what they really mean. I'm no longer alone. Not only like, they don't need a coach anymore. They have the best coach inside them. And this is our program trying to get those high achievers to connect to. So they were never alone and struggle with anything. And they never need to reach out to family and friends who do not know how to help them, and getting things worse. And they can, this program not only provide them with the master level trained coaches, but permanently, sustainably connect them to how to get advice, support from their higher self.
Higher self. And that's your true self.
That's what
right?
The true self meant, higher self. And
Really.
that's how that's related to burnout and for high achievers, especially high achievers.
It's almost like pause in our busy life. We get distracted with all that's coming at us. And a lot of who we are, what's important to us gets pushed down.
Yeah. So the autopiloting, like fast moving, fast paced life and work lifestyle is really disconnect them from their higher wisdom. Right. And this is our program trying to reconnect them so they can be in a flow. When you're in the flow, that means there is a matching of your challenge and your perceived skills. And a lot of time they're not in the zone of the flow. And zone of flow or zone of genius is what brings them effectively their genius in their work and in their life. And they don't have to burn out. They have plenty of time to self-care and for family quality times, and while still high performance at work. They will feel very joyful instead of anxiety and burnout.
And that's from really getting in touch with their higher self, their true self.
Yeah.
Wow, great.
It won't take long. Once they train and practice how to do it, all our clients, get very comfortable doing it. Even after the program, they can still continue to have that high quality support. So they're no longer alone. They don't feel anxiety and burnout anymore. It doesn't mean they don't have challenges. They have challenges, but those challenges used to give them distress and burnout, anxiety. Now the challenges give them excitement. And
I love that. Challenges giving excitement. Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. And I want to ask a little more about high achieving life or high achievers, because, you mentioned, people who are at the top and know how to do things, and they might be the only ones who know how to do it. But there's so many amazing people who are high achievers. But if you compare it to someone maybe who's at, the CEO of a company, or, they've created their own business, there's also high achievers who might not say, oh gosh, I've achieved so much in life for others. So couldn't it just be like a nurse or a teacher who works really hard and they're motivated? And is that
Oh,
correct? Like it
yeah,
would.
yeah. I'm
Mm.
so glad you mentioned this. I really love this. So by high achievers, it's not meaning it's only like CEOs of a company and high achievers. You have to be Elon Musk, Steve Jobs. No, they're not. you know,
But they do have coaches. They do have
yeah,
coaches.
they do have coaches. By high achievers, you can be anywhere in your life, any career and jobs you're taking. It doesn't, there is no hierarchy of high achievers. High achievers, I can be like a kindergarten teachers. I can be a high achiever. High achiever meaning whatever I do, I want to thrive to the best top,
Mm.
right? You can be anything. You can be a restaurant waitress. You can be a high achiever because you provide the best service. Like wherever you go, wherever which restaurant you go, you become the top waitress.
Yeah, yeah.
Right,
Well,
that's
thank
the
you for
high achiever
explaining that. Yeah.
I'm talking about. They share the same quality. It's like you love what you do and you do the best, and then you enjoy it. And that's the part that's missing these days because we're so stressed. For you're a waitress, you're stressed, right? And because the amount of work and whether you will be valued by your restaurant and your relationship to customers, they are doing what they love, but then all these things happen in them kind of suppress them, and they do not feel the joy that they deserve, and instead they burn out, right? And because they are all struggling alone. After the program, everything miraculously changed. Suddenly, she feels such joy when she goes to work because suddenly her boss valued her so much and sees her all the good things happening, even
Mm.
bad things happening, and she was totally understood and never criticized. But that was never before. That's the transformation, and then there's no burnout. You would, if you so eager to go to work, and then when you get to the workplace, you can perform the highest you
Mm.
can, and everyone loves you and value you, and even you work long hours, you don't get burnout, right? But on the other hand, if you're dissociated with the higher self, even if you work hard and be very good, and then you realize you're not appreciated at workplace. So that's the difference this program wants to bring
Mm.
to people and getting them
Yeah.
started.
Dr. Z, I'd love to point out here because this client that we worked with, the participant, it was really neat because when they identified, they came to peace with their true self, and um, it was their energy that showed
Mhm.
up, right? So we've got this vibration and this positivity, um, which is more like when you take a challenge to be more of, or an obstacle to be a challenge and one that you're looking forward to. Like, how
Mhm.
can I move past this? Um, and that shift brings about this positive energy around you, and it affects those around you too.
Yeah, I love it that you mentioned the energy. The energy, it's something like now these days people do energy. What do they call it? Take a
A
lot of
home energy audit. Yes, the
yeah,
home
there you
energy
go.
audit.
That's what the word I was looking for, audit, right? So this is something like, when we do this program, we also have assessment, pre-program assessment of the client, and we kind of look all around the client's energy and aspects in their lives, and we notify a lot of energy leaks in their life, and
Mm.
that's of course cause of the burnout, right? And once we take all the leaks away, and the energy start to booming up already, like the base level energy already, because the stop of the leaking. And then once we connect to their higher self, and there are many components of true self we talk about in the program, and every component lined up, and
Mm.
then suddenly they can receive more energy. This is beyond the food you eat. So when you realign with all the components of your true self, the energy just flow in. And besides, you don't have all the leak, the distressful factors in your life. So your energy is suddenly so high. And one of our clients went to her workplace and her boss was like, I don't know what you did recently. You're just totally
Mm,
different person. And, and that's how you glow without even knowing it. You have this
mm,
high energy. You go into your workplace, you're unrecognizable. And that's the transformation we're talking about. Not only, just like you said, not only your own energy transformed, elevated in that such glorious level, and your people around you, they all changed.
mhm, mhm,
Because you are just like you're the creator of your own life, and that means your environment is a reflection of your own energy. When you are
mhm,
high in energy, the reflection is also high. Even you're dealing with the same like very brutal and the worst person in the world, you're dealing with it, but that person, once your energy is high, that person reflects to you is a different person. It's no longer that bad. Even though this person to other people still the same, but to you, it's suddenly a different story. And that's the miracle what our clients are experiencing after this program. So this is really, I like it you mentioned the energy part.
the energy, great, thank you. And another thing, the title is A Date with Your True Self and Nature. So what when you say date, what does that mean? Or why did we pick the word date in this?
Yeah, I love that question. Um, so a little background is, I've been thinking about, how to help people, uh, especially high achievers in their life, to get away from burnout for a long time. Basically, our coaching was centered around that. And I always want to create a program to, elevate their energies and change a lot of things, frequencies in their life. But then, this is something our clients always experience after program is the same thing I experience myself is when you wanted something in your life, like a program, a good program for your client. And it just it doesn't come like you do the research and look at textbooks and data and trying to
Mm,
get a program. It just suddenly it comes at the right time, right place. And this is the same thing, people call it either like a manifest or download, whatever you
mhm,
call it, like that magic moment. It just suddenly everything comes together. And this is what happened to this program. And this happens in the Valentine's on the Valentine's Day this year. I was like creating a post and doing something, and suddenly this whole program idea just come together at that point of time. It's accumulated like you're asking universe for good things, right?
mhm,
And then it doesn't happen right away, but at the right time, and suddenly it's come. And the idea is call it a 6-week challenge, a date with true self and nature. So in terms of dating, because like Valentine's Day, right? You're spending time with
mhm,
your lovers, and it's really about dating is about a relationship, trying to build a relationship and see if it's a fit, if sustainable for intimate relationship for a lifetime,
mm,
right? And right now we are in this pandemic of mental health and stress, anxiety, and burnout. And one of the biggest thing is the relationship with ourselves.
mm,
And it's just like a marriage. We are not um, we're so busy, like a couple are so busy with their own
mm,
thing, they're trying to communicate, but there is lack of a way for them to communicate, and the marriage is not working, right? And that's how we're experiencing the energy, low energy, and burnout. So the dating is really giving our clients chance to, it's just like, if there is people who love each other, but somehow things doesn't work and they get divorced. But they get a second chance. Their life is like so like meant to be together, right? Like a soulmate. We're meant to be together. Even if they separate, they get a second
Mm,
chance to know each other again. And then they start dating again. And they realize, you are still my soulmate. Even in the past it didn't work out, we kind of drifted apart.
mhm,
But when you get the chance to reconnect and reappreciate each other and realize, wow, how come I was so blind? I didn't realize your existence and your, you know, amazing love to each other and amazing wisdom
mm,
and energy that we could use for a better teamwork. And this is what the dating in this program is for, really trying to reconnect you to your higher self or your true self, and then start to appreciating the things that you never aware before.
mm,
And the date throughout this program, each week, we're going to date with one component of your true self that you never aware before or never pay attention to before, and really gets connected to benefit from an intimacy relationship with each part of your true self every week. And
mm,
after the 6 week date, and all our clients are transformed.
yeah,
They're no longer struggling alone. Their energy is high. They're glowing everywhere they go. And magic things happen to their lives,
yeah,
right? The relationship at work suddenly changed. People are unrecognizably nice. And they are so valued. Before, like they are the top achievers, but they're not valued. Now is like everyone recognized they're so irreplaceable at a workplace.
mm,
And even the plants that never blossomed. Like, and and their family changes, right? And one of the clients always concerned about their adult children and their relationship. Like for many years they haven't entered into relationship. She start worrying about whether they're ever going to get married, have grandchildren for her, right? And then suddenly, out of blue, the daughter brings a boyfriend home after the program. And magic things just like flow into their life. And because all these connections to their house self and this relationship blossomed all over their life, manifested magicals in their life. And that's what this dating and reconnection and eventually remarried. So at the end of program, we're going to have a bonus weekend retreat, and we will get them after they date for a couple of months. They will be able to decide whether they want to marry again. And this marriage is really the ultimate sustainable solution to burnout a life, say goodbye to a burnout life, a broken marriage of between you and your higher self, and really enter into a thrive life, because you and your partner, your soul, your higher self is a team now. It's an intimate relationship with a team, and you're going to thrive after that. And no doubt, every single of our clients thrive after the program.
yeah. I love that, the team connecting with your higher self and all that. Another thing that came up to me, Dr. Z, is when I hear the word date, that was something that was special,
Mm.
right? A date with someone when you were dating and you showed up as your best and you were excited to learn about that other person in some way. And so this, our date with true self, is really showing up, being there fully for that person, which is your inner self, your true self, and getting to know it again,
Yeah,
really listening and showing up
right.
and
And
taking that time.
I love you. This is a great point. When you go to a date, you're showing up your better self. You dressed up nicely. You talk nicely. You suddenly become a, the best version of yourself, essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And all our clients every week they take this dating challenge. Like they either pick an inner child out for a day, they pick up their reptilian brain out for like their heart, their gut, all these intimate self out for a date, and they pick the best place. Either they have set up their meditation area and go out into a beautiful park, and they were so busy and they were never like going out like that before. But because of the challenge, and they start to go out and bring their best self out. It's such a like beautiful. I was just like, even as a coach, I enjoy this myself.
Uh,
Yeah,
Very creative, right?
yeah, looking
And
at them, like how they go out every week to connect to themselves. Every week I look at their post. It's just amazing. That's my
yeah, really
that's my passion.
inspiring.
Right. Yeah.
Really inspiring. And I love that you mentioned like different locations, because when you go on a date, you would try and find a fun place or something that was going to help you connect more with the person you're going on a date with. And this is yourself. Another thing is when you have a date, you put it on your calendar, right? And you have blocked off time. And that's really important for anyone to really reconnect with your true self, your inner self, your higher self, and identify, because you need to listen and you need to block off all that busyness out and about that goes on in the world.
Yeah, I love this. Your point. Like when you're a date, this is your priority. Remember the days when you were dating your husband and the wife, right? Before you get married, you know, that was on top of your priority. And,
Yeah.
and nowadays, like many coaches I program talk about self-love and self-care, right? And everybody knows, oh, I need to take care of myself. But it's never that prioritized. They don't put it on the calendar. They know, like, I need to take a rest, but they keep saying it for months and nothing happened. But once this program, when you enter it, we put you into that dating mode. And
Mm.
during our coaching program, and everyone gets so connected to that part of self that you just feel the love between them, and you want to get connected, you want to date. It's just like at that time you were dating your husband and your wife, you wanted to go out, like you can, like you read a book but your mind is thinking about them.
It was exciting, right? It was
You can't
exciting.
wait, after work you can rush to the doors, put the best of yourself up, and then you go to meet your lover, right? And that's how we get you into that kind of mode. That's why even it's called challenge, but I saw our clients, it's just never that hard. It's not like they just do it and do it so beautifully, and the results was so inspiring. Every week they posted like they're all inspiring each other, like left and right. So it's just like a sharing your dating story. Right? It's so romantic, it's so intimate, and it's so fun. It's a fun challenge.
You mentioned the challenge, and another question that has come up frequently is it's a 6-week challenge. So what does that challenge mean?
The challenge means that you have to take your time and commit to do this dating, right? And but once you're in the program, it doesn't feel it's a hard challenge, right? A lot of people, look at the challenges like, oh, I don't have time to do that. I don't have energy to do that. But just by doing it, you will have time, because your life suddenly changes and you don't have to do unnecessary things to get a better relationship, at home or at your work, because they just magically flow into your life. You don't have to work hard, and those times you actually saved, right? And throughout this daily, you every week you take 2 hours onto the group Zoom,
Mhm.
as a small group you can interact with, and then just 2 hours, and then probably saves you 10 hours for non-productive
Mm.
work for your life and for your work, because you're not getting anywhere with those extra work only, you know just so for example, this is a good example. So one of our clients are trying to look for a new job, new position. She landed to a different country, a new city, everything's new. She was overwhelmed,
Mm.
and she just want to look for a job, and that's tons of work, right? You have to do research of each, open positions, and look at the companies and start contact them and work on your resumes, how to match them, all kinds of things. It's a crazy stressful amount of work. So she came to our program, is overwhelmed by that. And she was so feel like, I do not want to make the wrong decision and go to a wrong, company,
Mm.
wrong job, and then I'm not happy, and then I have to, switch again. So the fear of making the wrong decision, but overwhelmed with so much choice, right? And then you have to, do a lot of amount of work, energy into it. So through our program, she started to relax and connect to her higher self. And her higher self, in her own words, is like leaving like breadcrumbs all over the place. So she know which one is the best fit for her future. Instead of applying for 20 places, you probably only need to apply 1 or 2 places. That's amount of work you saved, right?
Mm.
So that 2 hours probably save you 20 hours every week to extra work. So, and then what I mean is, when you connect to your higher self, you have high energy, you have your own vibration change, everything change magically, almost instantly. Of course, it's not like the next minute, but just within the short period of, few weeks. And what happened to her, she was calling it a miracle, is these breadcrumbs just lead her to a conference, right? And then the person sitting next to her was just talking about an organization. She said, "Oh, that sounds interesting. That I might, apply." And she just called that organization, get connect to them, say, "Hey, I'm looking for a job, and anything. Do you have any opening?" And suddenly they just said, "We just have an opening, and we didn't even post it, and you come just the right time." And after they interact, boom, she got the job. Like, how efficient that is,
Mm.
instead of like trying to analyze all the data and look and work on your resumes, and trying to find ciphers through all these tons of opportunities,
Yeah.
and opportunity just come right to you. How wonderful is that? And
Yeah.
that's what the magic of this program will connect to you, to your higher self, to achieve as a team, intimate relationship with your higher self, higher wisdom, best version of yourself. What else can be better than that?
Mm. Great. It's amazing. That was another participant who just had amazing results. And I love her breadcrumb analogy. That was really cool.
Yeah, and now everyone start to use that in our
Yeah,
group.
yeah,
Like, everyone have followed their own breadcrumbs and find their own magic. Everyone experienced that kind of
yes, 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 yes. So it sounds like the challenges are each week, and they're to plan a date and have a date with your inner self, your true self in some aspect,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Mhm.
So to summarize, what would you say the outcomes or the objectives or goals for this program?
Every client come with their own specific goals in their life. Basically is like, I love your word, energy audit, right? And we have an energy audit of your whole life. What is your source of stress and burnout, right? And then we connect to your higher self and have a date, have like a round table or team meeting, like during all these weeks to really download and then manifest what would be best outcome for that particular stressor, right?
Mm.
Energy leak. And for example, we just mentioned one client was overwhelmed with job hunting, right, and looking for the right career, and the other is the health, and she was feeling unnecessary, feeling guilty about her health and not communicating with her physicians. And after, because she totally opens up, right? And then opens up honestly, talking about her conditions to her physician. And now suddenly she has access to the best team of doctors and who was expert for her conditions. But before she was like hiding, like it's a big burden
She
and
wasn't being
stress.
honest necessarily with herself, it sounds
Right.
like, right? And
Yeah,
thus
because she
her
wouldn't connect to,
her
her
doctor.
higher self, just so lovingly have a very different opinion about her condition. But because the disconnection, and she never knew, oh, it's not that bad. She can openly talk to about it, but before it
Yeah.
was a burden, it's an energy leaker and stressor for her. So like everyone comes different. Like the other client was also like, she was the high achiever in her life, in her work, and also, concerns about her adult children's relationship, their lives. And once it's all connected, this burden is gone. And at least they're like set back, and then can let wonderful things coming into their life. So everyone comes very unique um, stressors in their life. And the outcome is these stresses are no longer exist, and they have higher energy, higher wisdom to deal with it and to manifest magicals in their life. And that's the outcome.
Mm. Another frequent question that we get is, who is this program for? And you've kind of summed it up.
Yeah.
But if you were to say in 2 sentences, how would you tell everyone who this program is for?
Yeah. So this program is for high achievers who are experiencing anxiety and burnout at work and at home, in health, in their relationship, uh, any aspects in their life. And this program is for you to
Mm.
become fully achieve what you want to achieve and being recognized and manifest magicals in your life without burnout, without anxiety. And you
Okay,
can
so
living a thriving life, basically.
reducing the burnout, changing that,
Hmm.
reducing anxiety and stress, high achieving. It sounds like it opens up more time for them.
Oh, yeah.
They're really listening to who their true self is. And
Hmm.
I know their inner child is something we talk about during this program. And by doing that, they're able to be honest with what they want in life and how they want to go about that. And what has happened, right, is there's a lot of fallout. We all start doing things just kind of out of habit. And all of a sudden, our schedule is so busy. It enables you to set healthy boundaries. It helps you to be honest with what's really important to you.
Right.
And it helps you to be able to say no, which is really saying yes to something that's more important to you and your true self.
Yeah, yeah. I love that you mentioned we kind of habitually doing all these things. It this program really is about how to be productive and successful in your life without working so hard and without feeling that hardship that gives you stress and burnout.
Mm.
So as a coach, we all know like the biggest challenge for people is changing habit, right? Once you're autopiloting and habits and trying to change it, is a lot of program dealing with how to change habits. But
Mhm.
this program is unique in that we do not say, oh, you have this habit, let's change it. Like it's never in our program like that. It's just through this fun and connection, to your higher self in a fun way, and their habit magically changes, right? And one of the client was usually thinking, have a habitual thinking of things, respond to things in this way. And once she connected to higher self, and immediately she just like she
Mm.
was driving to work and talking about positive things, and that's probably her boss was seeing her so differently. It's like, she's totally different, and they're so inspired and intrinsically motivated to change, rather than like, I need to change this, I need to like put a note here and remind myself, like, that's hard.
It's fun. And I think well, one thing is once you do identify, we get into habits because there's something that make us feel good or there's enjoyment out of them.
Yeah, totally.
So when we look at connecting with our true self, and you're seeing that joy and reduced stress and anxiety and just kind of that peace through your body, it becomes more of a habit to do that.
Yeah. A story just came up to my mind. I really want to share with everyone. It's about a very wise man, and there is a bunch of kids making noise outside his window, and he really want to, stop them. But instead of saying go out, say, hey, you guys go away, he just approached them, said, hey kids, I hear all your, happily, playing, and really reminds me, my childhood. I really love it. I want you to come every day and I'll pay you. So, like every day you come and play under my window, I'll pay you $1. So the kids were so happy, like they never like played and receiving $1. So first day they got $1, and the second day they come, the gentleman just gave them like 50 cents. Like they were like, huh, yesterday you paid me $1, but it's still good money, right? So they start to take the money and play, and then the third day come back and they only got 10 cents. Got paid. So they were so angry at the man, like, hey, we deserve $1. Now you pay me only 10 cents. We never come back again. So they stopped coming back. So this story really, tells us what's the difference between intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation.
Mm.
So when the kids was originally doing, they're doing what they love, and they're just happy and playing until this gentleman wisely and smartly transformed their motivation from intrinsic motivation to extrinsic motivation. That is
Mm.
a money payment associated motive. Once you remove that extrinsic motivation, and you're not happy anymore, right? And this is exactly what's happening in our society these days. So our education system, our family expectations and social expectations really deprived us connecting with our intrinsic motive in our life, and they associated with many extrinsic like what we're supposed to do. like how much we're
Yeah.
supposed to earn, how much we're supposed to get, all these intrinsic, and even the high achievers, they come with like those little kids. They're happy, they love this. I know so many, healthcare professionals, and they love helping people. They love, being a doctor, a nurse, or scientist to save people's life. But there's so much going on in our society that complicated things, makes things so complicated, uh, and in order to be high achieving, you have to go through so many hoops,
Mhm.
and eventually when you do not get what you want, just like those kids, they do not get paid to play, and they stop playing, they lost compassion for play, but they really don't need that payment to be happy and play at the first place.
Yeah.
So they were high achievers without burnout, but now they become high achievers with burnout because of that switch. And our program really brings back their connection to their intrinsic motive, the original joy, the original passion and compassion for life. And now
Mm.
they become a high achiever without burnout. No matter how outside the world is happening, no matter how bad your colleagues and bosses, whatever their bad behavior, it doesn't affect you anymore because they are no longer your external motive for you to thrive. And then when you realize that, you can be happy and your energy reflected upon them and they become happy too. It's an
Mm.
all happy ending. So I just want
Beautiful.
to share with this story.
I love that story. That's a great one. It's like reverse psychology, right?
Yeah, yeah, but we have to reverse that.
Yeah, yeah.